It started with one cup, but his passion brewed a worldwide movement.
Educate, empower, enable, impact. Thank you for tuning in to That Will Never Work, an award-winning podcast where we share inspiring information and personal experiences related to business and the entrepreneurial journey from those who are leaders in their respective field. Now, here's your host, author and business coach, Maurice.
Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. So today, I'm going to come to you from a different perspective. I've been talking to you about burning out and something, about your passion, right? And so I'm not sure how long I'll do this, giving you examples, but today I'm going to give you one. And the idea is something as small or as little or as non-complex as it might be, of having a simple cup of coffee. And I believe I spoke about this gentleman before, but it's so inspirational because the reality is that he took over an organization and then turned into a regional coffee company and then into one of the world's largest brands. I think that at times we don't really understand our vision, our power that we have in a certain situation. So something as a cup of coffee, we drink it every day. People have been drinking it for some time, years and years and years. And how do you take something like that and turn it into a multi-billion-dollar a year organization? But it takes vision. It takes ideas, think outside the box, or whatever it is. But there's some things to this idea that this young man created. So the young man that started this organization or who took this idea of coffee to turn it into this multi-million-dollar organization. A lot of us don't, look at it and say, hey, everybody, some people that are making it, they have a silver spoon in their mouth. Well, he didn't. He was raised in public housing, right? And some of us that have another vision of life or whatever it is, we go into, as I said there, in an earlier episode, that sometimes college changes your perspective on things. And so he was an individual who took college, and he was the one from, the first one, I believe, from his family. I believe that's what the story says. He was the first one from his family and was able to take that idea from college and because it stretches us. It helps us to look at things from a different perspective. And so when you are around other people, because we don't know 100% everybody that he spoke to. We don't know 100% of who changed and the exact moment. I mean, if you listen to some of his old, other episodes and things that he's talked about, whatever else, we have opportunities and moments, right? So we can glean from that, but we don't know every single step in the process. And so we have to understand that it is a tool, a whole journey, right, to building this type of organization. Something as simple as a cup of coffee. And so when we think of something as simple as a cup of coffee, what is a cup of coffee? What is the opportunity? You could take that cup of coffee, and do you view it as just a cup of coffee, or do you look at it as something that's a little bit more special, that's a little more broader, that can touch and move the masses just a little bit? Well, when I think of a cup of coffee, depending on what store you go to, now this gentleman, he's founded Starbucks, right? And he turned an organization like Starbucks into a global experience. But the cup of coffee in certain stores such as Starbucks and Panera Bread, or your local coffee store, Dunkin' Donuts, whatever it is, there's a sense of community and connection that comes with that. Now sometimes it doesn't start in those stores or those places. I know my first experience with coffee, in all honesty, was when I started working in corporate America. So, because in corporate America, when we're sitting around, first thing in the morning is everybody getting themselves ready and prep for the day. One of the things that they do was get their cup of coffee, and people start to talk. They start to network. And so something as simple as a cup of coffee is a little larger than just, let me get my coffee and get my day started. There's a sense of connection because people can now have something to talk about. Because in some cases, people can talk about sports, but guess what? Everyone doesn't understand sports, right? Now, I'm not a coffee drinker, but I will be in that same space getting my tea, right? Which causes another type of conversation. But what happens is that when you take something as simple as this cup, and now you turn it into a bridge for connections and a sense of community, it changes the game. It's something that simple. It is something that ordinary, right? Because it appears to be something ordinary. But because of your vision and your space, your ideas and ideals and your morals and your values, you can turn something like that into something that is a global experience, not just a global brand, but an experience. So again, I'm not a coffee drinker, but I listen to people talk about their frozen iced coffees, or how they like it prepared, and little hearts and this and that, all those type of things. So I don't know the difference 100%. I don't know the lingo 100% like that. But I see how it creates an environment that is inviting for people across the board. It doesn't matter what it is. And with that comes an opportunity to say, hey, we can move forward together. Right? So in this opportunity, and let's understand that to create a global brand, everyone's not going to jump on board 100%. Like, you still have to be relentless about it. You have to work hard. You have to do the work, right? And sometimes in certain situations, you have to get a better understanding of who you're serving, who your stockholders are, your shareholders are, and make promises that you're not always sure that you can keep. But are there certain things that you hold near or dear to your heart that say, hey, you know what? I understand what the process is, and now here's my strategy, and I'm taking one step after one step after one step, learning and growing each and every step. Regardless if it feels like a step back, I'm still learning something in the process. And then taking the opportunities, just like this gentleman did, of deciding to invest heavily in mobile technology to elevate experiences in stores and drive customer loyalty. So sometimes you got to take a risk in that as well. So Maurice, what are you saying today? What are you trying to get at, with this individual? First of all, his name is Howard Schultz. And he took this passion into a great opportunity. But why does it matter? Because his story proves that passion for people, community, connection, when paired with a vision, can turn even a simple cup of coffee into $1 billion idea. Let's understand that a simple cup of coffee can turn into $1 billion idea. Keep working on your passion.
Thanks for listening. Follow Maurice Chisholm on social media to stay connected and check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, that will never work. Or will it?